there, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here and you like the content, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. Okay guys, today we're going to be doing something pretty interesting. We're going to be taking a look at the blazing solo from Whitesnake Still of the Night, the one that John Sykes put down in 1987. Really epic solo, buried in the mix. Anyway, I posted up a video of this quite recently. I've noticed that the way that I'm playing this ergonomically is quite a bit different than a lot of the other players on the internet here, so I thought I'd maybe show you the way that I'm playing it and give you some variations, and you guys can decide which version you would like to play. I'm fairly certain my version is pretty close to studio accuracy. I did sit down in Woodshed for a weekend just listening to John's isolated guitar track on repeat, and my DAW played ludicrously slowly just so I could really pick out all of the notes and get it as close as possible to accurate. Anyway, enough of my blabbering. Let me show you the way that I played this thing. Alright guys, before we get going, a few things I want to mention about this solo in particular. This solo obviously is buried in the mix pretty deeply when you listen to Still of the Night. The reason for that is it was indeed recorded in multiple takes. You can hear where they were splicing everything together with tape. I'll talk about that more as I teach you what's going on. We're going to be doing this entire solo in good old standard tune, and the scale that John's going to be using to do this solo is E minor. So as long as you know your E minor scale, you'll be good to go. Alright, let's get into it. I'm going to play through this thing one time slowly just so you guys can kind of see and hear how this should look and sound, alright? Let's go. So section one to start us off, this is what I was doing in the version I was playing in the beginning. I start off with with this kind of thing here. Okay, and all I'm doing there, folks, is I'm starting off with a pinch harmonic right here on the 7th fret of your G string. That guy, which is obviously that's a D note. And then after I do that, I'm putting some vibrato on it. And then I'm doing this thing, which is kind of a reverse dive bomb into another D harmonic back here on the 3rd fret of the G string. And then just diving. The actual recording is, these two harmonics aren't in one take. They're two separate takes spliced together, and you can hear there's a bit of tape warble and all sorts of stuff going on. To me, it actually sounds more like this on the recording. Sounds like the same harmonic with a bar, and it's diving. Of course, you can do it the way that I did it here with playing, the D pinch harmonic up there, and then going to the harmonic there. That sounds fine. Really just choose whatever works for you. I'm pretty sure in the recording though it's two dives like that. Now see some videos of John Sykes playing this live in the 90s, and he of course plays usually a Les Paul without a bar. And what he does is he'll do a pre-bend and then release it like that twice, right? That kind of thing, and that's how he gets his harmonic to do this kind of run or to start it off. Alright, so those first two notes played whichever way you see fit should sound like this. Okay, now from there, what I hear in the recording is a really noisy, I'm not sure if it's maybe a note that's been caught with a splice on a tape, but you can hear this kind of sound here. And to me, that just sounds like somebody is on the D string and just picking around, the 2nd fret and moving up. That kind of noise. Now I like this because if you notice when I was playing this live, I do my harmonics obviously on the bridge pickup to try and get some more bite out of them. And this gives me an opportunity here to switch over to my neck pickup, which you're going to need for the speedy run, okay? So all together up to this point, here's what we have so far. Okay, now from there, there's some more ambient noise which happens, and I think it's just John getting his hand up to the E note here on the 12th fret on your big E string, okay? So I'm just kind of picking into that, and that's where the run will start for the next section, okay? So this whole section up to this point should look and sound kind of like this. Alright, section 1. What does section 1 look and sound like? It should look and sound kind of like this, and this is kind of where the economy picking or alternate picking insanity begins. Okay, so that looks pretty easy, and it is. All we're doing, guys, is we're just doing 3 notes per string, and we're going to be going all the way through an E minor scale. So starting off here on the 12th fret of your high E string, you're going to go 12, 14, 15, and then you go down onto your A string, do the exact same thing. And then you jump down onto your D string. We're just going through the scale, so now we're going to be doing 12, 14, 16. and then you jump down to your D string and do the exact same thing. Okay, so all together, section 1 up to this point should look and sound like this. Good. All right, section 2, what does that sound like? Okay, so all we're doing here, folks, is we obviously did section 1 like this. Okay, so you ended there up on the 16th fret of your G string. What you're going to do now is just play the 12th fret of the G string, come back up here onto your D string on the 16th fret, and then just run down the scale and back up again. Okay, so we have this so far. Okay, and just like as we did in section 1, we're going to continue on running up the scale. So jump down onto your G string, and you got it. We're just going to be running up that scale. So we're going 12, 14, 16. Okay, so this is what we have all together up to this point. Okay, now John's going to just keep on running through the scale. So jump over here onto the B string on the 13th fret. You're going to go 13, 15, 17. Just like that. Okay, so we got this so far. And of course, we're not done with the phrase. Jump over onto your high E string and just continue running up the scale. Okay, so all together up to this point, here's what we got. Now this is where he's going to do that kind of cheeky turnaround that we did from section 1 to section 2 again. And you're just going to end up playing back here after you've gone up the scale. Come back to the 14th fret of the E string, and then on to the 17th fret of your B string, and then the 15th fret. And that is all of section 2. So section 2 all together played slowly should look and sound like this. All right, so section 3, this is a quick, easy section, and it should look and sound just like this. Okay, all right, so what we're doing here, folks, is we're just gonna be doing this on the B and the E string, and we're just gonna be running up the scale. Of course, the last section ended here on the 15th fret of your B string. Now we're gonna be starting on the 13th fret of the B string. We're just gonna go, again, run up the scale. 13, 15, 17, jump onto the E string, and we're gonna be going 14, 15, 17, and then when you hit that one, you're going to kind of want to slide and pick up to the 19th fret, okay? So we've got this up to this point. Okay? Now from there, what you want to do is jump back onto the B string, and we're going to start off on the 15th fret, and we're going to kind of run up the scale again. So we're going to be going 15, 17, 19, and then jump down onto the E string and play the exact same thing. Okay, so all together, it should look and sound just like this. Perfect. All right, the last section. This is a descending, ascending kind of section, and it should look and sound kind of like this. Okay, now there's actually a few ways to play this. The way that I just did it here is the way that I played on the intro. I'll show you this one as well as some additions which might be more ergonomic for your purposes, okay? All right, so to start things off, obviously the last section we ended up here on the 19th fret of your high E string, so we're gonna be doing descending 4s, starting off on the 20th fret. So you're gonna go 20 on the E string, 19, 17, 15, okay? Just like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing the same thing again, but this time starting on the 19th fret. So 19, 17, 15, 14. Okay, so we got this so far. And you got it. We're just continuing down through this pattern, descending 4s. So again, start off now on the 17th fret of your high E string. 17, 15, 14, 12. Okay, so we have this. All right, now that we've made it that far, to kind of finish off that phrase before we start ascending, what you're going to be doing is just carrying on down through the scale, but this time starting off on the 15th fret of your E string. So it would look like this. Okay, and all we're doing for that again, folks, is I'm just doing high E string 15, 14, 12, B string 15, 13, 12, and then on the G string, the 14, and of course, you can go back to the G itself on the 12. That's where the next part of the ascending thing starts. So all together up to this point, we have this. Okay, now you just ended on this note here, obviously, which is the G located on the 12th fret of your G string. That is actually the first note of the ascending phrase. So once you get down to, what is it? To this, what you want to do is kind of play that once and then start doing some hammer-ons up through the scale again. So you're going to play that like that. I'm going to hammer on to the 14, and I'm going to hammer on to the 16. Now this is the only part of this entire phrase which I can hear which sounds like it's legato. You can only really hear the definite pick on the first string. Feel free to play this using alternate picking if you like. I think John's probably doing legato for this one, but feel free to experiment. To me it sounds like legato because I can only really clearly hear the first note. Anyway, so we've played the G string on the 12th fret, hammering on to the 14, hammering on to the 16, and we're just moving up the scale again, folks. So jump onto the B string. You're going to be hitting right here on the 13th fret, hammer on to the 15, hammer on to the 17, just like so. And you got it. We're just carrying on through the scale. Hop on now to the 14th fret of your high E string. Pick that once. Hammer on to the 15. Hammer on to the 16. Okay, so that's what we got for the ascending part. Okay, so the entire phrase up to this point should look and sound like this. Okay, all right, so now we're at the final part here. The last note of the phrase is this note right here, which would be the 19th fret on the E string, with some vibrato on it. So it's kind of vibrato in and out of the 20th fret. Kind of like that. So the whole section up to that last note should look and sound kind of like this. Okay. Okay, now I did say there's different ways you could play it. Here's an alternate version. Okay, and all I'm doing there, folks, is the same thing that we were doing with the descent. Just when I get to here, this is where things change. Instead of going all the way down to the 12, I'm going to start off right there on the 17. Okay, so that's normal, except I'm not going to slide down to that 12. I'm going to come over here and grab right there on the 17th fret of the B string. Okay, so like that. And then I'm going to start the last descending phrase on the 15th fret of the E string. So 15, 14, back onto the B string, 17, 15, and then 13. Okay, so we got this. And then to continue on down through this one, you've got the 16th fret on your G string, 14th fret of your G string, and then to start the ascending part, we obviously have the G on the 12, and that's the same as it was before. And of course you went with that note there. The only reason there's this variation is I find sometimes when you're doing this quickly, it just feels a little bit more comfortable if you're doing 3-note per string patterns, just to continue on with 3-note per string patterns. I find this sometimes can be a little bit more ergonomical for me to play. Again, experiment, see which version works for you. This one you still get the nice legato up, which I'm pretty sure is how John played that on the record. Okay, the other variation of this is this guy, which has far less movement down the neck, but is much more compact, but a bit of a tongue twister to play. So it should look and sound kind of like this. Okay, so basically all I'm doing here, guys, is descending fours, starting off like we did, but instead of moving down the neck, I'm going to be moving kind of across it, right? So instead of moving down there, of course, to the 15th fret, I'm going to be playing that note up here on the 20th fret of the B string. Okay, so like so. And then to start the phrase again, moving down, we're going to start off on the 19th fret of the E string. So 19, 17, B string. Going to be 20, 20, 19. Okay, so. Okay. And then again, we're just kind of moving down this thing in descending fours. We know we have to start off now on the 17th fret of the high E. So play that onto the B string, just moving down the scale, folks. So 20, so 20, 19, 17. Okay, so all up to this point, here's what we have. And from there, this is where everything kind of caps off. We're just going to continue on moving down through the scale. But of course, we're going to be starting off now on the 20th fret of your B string. So go ahead and play that. 20, 19, 17. And then we're going to jump onto the G string, and we're going to be playing the 19, 17, 16. Okay, so we got this. And we're not done yet. There are still two more notes to go in that scale. We've got an A and a G. So we're going to be playing the A right here on the D string at the 19th fret, and then the G right below it on the 17th fret. Okay, so all together, this is what we have. Okay, now to come back through this, you're just going to run up the scale. So we're just going to be moving linearly all the way up until that final note. And we, of course, ended the last phrase on the G note located right there on the D string at the 17th fret. So we're going to go 19 with your pinky, jump over onto the G string, and go 16, 17, 19, jump onto your B string and go 17, 19, 20, jump onto your E string and go right there, which would be 17. Ends on the 19 with, of course, that vibrato. Okay, so all together look and sound kind of like this. Good. All right, so the last section should look and sound kind of like this. Okay, now what they're doing, folks, we obviously ended the section before this with a lot of vibrato up on the 19th fret of your E string. And from there, what you're going to do is come back down to the E string on the 17th fret. And I'm going to do a bit of a finger roll on that 17 off the E to the 17 on the B. It'll be kind of this sort of thing. Okay, and from there, what you're going to do is you're going to grab the 20th fret, bend it up a whole step, and then come back down and play it again with some vibrato just on the 20th. Okay, so we have this so far. And then after that, the last little piece to cap this off is all going to be up here on the 22nd fret of your high E string. You're going to pick that once, and then you're going to pick it again and bend up. Pick it again down, and then pick it up. And then to finish it off, you're just going to be playing it. Playing and picking and doing that all through the end, and put lots of vibrato on it. Okay, so the whole ending should look and sound kind of like this. Okay? All right, let's play through that whole thing one time together slowly. Nice. All right, the whole thing a little bit quicker. you have it. That is how I play John Sykes' blistering solo from Still of the Night. Just a few things to mention about this solo. If you are playing this, you're finding the sound is a little bit different. Don't worry about that too much. The reason for that is the finished product that you hear on the album is absolutely drenched in delay, reverb, and compression, and it was done in multiple takes, as we've noticed with that bizarre little double harmonic accident from the intro. Also, John, when he's playing this, is indeed playing this kind of sloppy. He's picking, at least I think the intent is to pick every single note. He does miss a few, and you can hear that as well in the audio, but I've kind of filled in the blanks where he probably should have been playing for it. But if you are playing this yourself, I know, just feel free to go for it. You kind of have to with this. If it's a bit sloppy, you probably won't even hear it because it's so fast. So just go for it, you'll get it. Anyway, really cool solo, definitely a bit intimidating, but ultimately doable. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video useful, hope you learned something. If you did, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, help my channel grow a little bit. And as per usual, everyone, just keep on shredding, and we will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.